This is a demonstration on how to use the Content tool in D2L version 10.1. To get to the Content tool, you'll go through the Materials drop-down menu and then click Content. The first place that you can put some content is in the course overview. This is an optional page, and if you choose to use it, you have a couple of things you can do. First of all, you can click here and put in a description. So sometimes this would be like the course description from the catalog or just some brief introductory material. You won't want to put a whole lot of information here because most of your information will be in your syllabus, but this is an option for you. You can also put a file here. Again, this is an option, just a different way to build your class. If you do want to put a file in here, you can see it says drag a file to add it to the overview. So in this case, you would need to resize your window. You would have to shrink this down so that you can see your desktop, and then you would have to open up your file storage area. Let me make this a little bit smaller so that you can still see the drag area, but then also get to where your files are. So if you did want to put your course calendar there or your course syllabus, that's perfectly fine. It would just be a matter of finding it. Let me find, I think I've got a sample in here. You can put in a Word document, a PDF file, and you would just drag it over and drag it to that spot. So let me expand this again. So you can see it just puts that right in to the course overview. So the rest of your content, and probably where I would suggest putting your syllabus and other documents, would be here in the table of contents. So if I click down here into table of contents, you can see there's nothing there yet. You're going to organize your files using modules. Modules is just really headings. So down here below table of contents, you'll see where it says add a module. So just click down there and enter a title like Getting Started and hit the enter key on your keyboard. So now you can see under table of contents I have my first module, Getting Started. It's currently selected, that's why it's highlighted. So if you were up here in table of contents and you wanted to work just on this module, you would click it on the left, and then that opens it up here on the right hand side. Now you're ready to add your topics, which are your files, things like your syllabus, your course schedule, any handouts or things that you want students to have access to. So in this case, I want to put my syllabus here under Getting Started. Again, you see you have the drag and drop option. So you would need to again resize your window and open up your file storage area. So if I wanted to put my syllabus here, again I would click on it, drag it over. You can see in this one actually the drag area turns green. And then as soon as that happens, you release your mouse and it adds that file to your module. So now under Getting Started, you see an indicator here that there's one item. And then on this side, where it's opened up the Getting Started, you can see that the file is listed there. Now you can add more than one at a time. So if you did have several things that you wanted to add, you could select them here from your file storage area. So maybe you wanted to put in, let me find my calendar. This time I'll put a Word document in. You can scroll through your list of items holding down your Control key. You can select more than one. So you see in this case I've got 3 items selected, and again I can just point to one of the 3, hold down my mouse button, drag it over, and then release it. And then you can see it has added those files here. Now once the files are there, you'll see that they have the same file name as what you had called them, so that's something to be aware of when you're creating your files. But you can always change these names. So if I don't like the way this looks, which it's kind of not the best phrasing there with no spaces, you can change that. So in this case I would click on the drop down arrow next to the name and go to Edit, and now I can click right on the name and I can make my changes. I think there's supposed to be two L's there, isn't there? And maybe I want to do that, and then I can hit enter. Now the other way that you can add files if the drag and drop method doesn't work for you is that you can use the new button. So you can click new and then go to upload files here. When you do that, you can upload either from your computer, from the course offering files. So these are files that are already in your D2L shell. So I'll choose my computer and click upload. And then I would just need to navigate my computer and look through my documents and find where those things are stored. So wherever you've got those things, go to D2L here, and maybe I want to bring in a tutorial. So you would scroll through here, and then it's sitting here, and then you're not quite done. You have to find the done button, and now that file has been added to this module. And you can move things around here, so if you decide you want this thing up towards the top, you see there's a little handle. As soon as I hover over those three little lines, then I can hold down my mouse and start dragging it to its new position. And as soon as it's in its new position, wherever that line is, I release it, and that's where it places the topic. So now when you're ready to create another topic, or another module, you would go over here, click, and maybe now you're ready to build your Unit 1 material. So you can click or enter the title and hit enter. And now I've got Unit 1 created. Again, here it is on the right hand side, and I can start adding my files. So you're going to either use the drag and drop method, or you're going to go through the new menu and then browse for the files that way. Now if you want to put a link to a website, you can do that as well, and you would need to use the new button to do that. So if I've got a web resource that I want to provide my students, I would click new, and I would go to create a link. Give the link a title, and put in the URL. Most of the time what this would be a copy and paste. So I've already copied my URL. I'm just going to highlight that, get rid of it, and paste in the complete URL. And always a good idea to open links in a new window. Click Create, and it has created this home page link. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the table of contents, because this is where you can see how it works. So now here's my link. I click on it, and you see it opens a new tab, and it opens up that web page. So I'll go back, and then these are called breadcrumbs. It kind of tells you where you've been. So right now I'm on the home page. If I want to go back to that module, I can click on Unit 1. If I wanted to go back the step further to go to the table of contents, I could do that as well. So just a couple of other things just to let you know how to rearrange things and so forth. So just like we can drag items here to rearrange, you can also drag your modules. So if you decide Unit 1 would be in front of getting started, you would just again hold down the mouse button, drag it up to where you see that gray line, and then release it. Or click it again, drag it back to the gray line, and release it. Be very careful not to drag this and drop it when it's orange, because then what you're doing is you're putting Unit 1 as a sub-module underneath getting started, and that probably wouldn't be what you would intend to do. So be careful of that. But otherwise, that's the basics of content. Create your modules over here first, and then use the drag and drop or the new method to get your files in or to create your links. And then just one final point to make, I'll go back here, is that you can build content, and maybe you don't want students to see everything right away. So for example, maybe I've created Unit 1 and it hasn't started yet, and I'm not really just done with it yet, and I want to hide it from student view. What you can do is you can actually switch this status to a draft. So once you click on Unit 1 and go over here where it says Published, you can just simply change that status to Draft. It's indicated here so you know, and then that would be hidden from student view. Once I'm ready for Unit 1 to be displayed, I would do the same process here when I switch this back to Published. Now you can do that for an entire module or a specific topic. So here maybe I've built this all up and I'm not quite ready for them to see this topic. I would need to edit the properties, which opens up this more information underneath that topic, and here again you see where it's published, and you would switch that topic to draft. And this is a common, I'd say, error maybe or concern where sometimes students say, I can't see the topic. Well, maybe you've forgotten to switch it back to being published. So you've referred your students to something and they say they can't see it. That would be somewhere to check to make sure that it is published. You can also set restrictions, specifically starting and end dates and due dates and things like that as you get more advanced.